Okay, I'm out here in my favorite spot on my porch. And I've been thinking about something. And I cannot believe it's the end of October and the weather is warm enough to sit on the porch. Now, it was freezing enough for hats and gloves and coats yesterday. And today it's warm. Gotta love Ohio. I mean, it's a little cool out here, but it's nice. But anyway, I've been thinking about this. For those of you who don't know. Now, if you're a Christian, you were raised in the church and you were really taught the Bible, and I mean really taught it, and really studied the scriptures for yourself, then you would know this. But for those of you who don't know, when you hear somebody say, God spoke to me, what does that mean, and how does God speak to people? Do they hear an audible voice? Does the earth shake? How do they know it's God? Well, there are different ways that God speaks. God speaks through His Word. That's the number one way that He speaks, and anything He says will not contradict His Word. So if you do not know His Word, you will not know whether it's His voice or another voice, because you better believe other voices are speaking. Now, God speaks through people. Sometimes He'll send people along to give you a word and tell you what you need to know, but it will always go along with what He said in His Word. Sometimes God speaks through circumstances. Things will happen to just let you know what is the right way. Now, and sometimes God speaks through experience. And that one is the hardest one. When we just are hard-headed and learn the hard way. But He also speaks to your heart with His Spirit. You'll just know. See, there is another voice, and it is the enemy's voice. And it's another spirit, if you want to call it that. And anything that makes you feel like you're not worth anything, like you can't do it, like life is not worth living, that makes you angry or bitter or jealous or unkind, anything that makes you feel like you're not worthy, that you're not worth anything, that makes you depressed, that is not from God. And that is not God speaking. Because He said you are fearfully and wonderfully made. He said that He knew you in your mother's womb. He sent His Son to die for you, so He doesn't think that you're not worth anything. If you think that, you've been listening to the wrong voice. Now, I'm telling you right now, God speaks. You just have to be listening. And deep down inside, I don't care whether you go to church or not. We all know right from wrong. It's just sometimes we're wrong for so long that wrong seems normal. But we know the truth. None of us are crazy. If you know anything about right from wrong, we know the 10 Commandments if you just live up to them. So this day I challenge you to listen for God's voice. Sometimes He'll speak through a little child. I've had little kids say things to me, and I'm like, you know what? You're right. Because at that point, they were wiser than I was. And they gave me wisdom. I'm telling you, you never know. So listen for the goodness in life. Listen for the right voices. Listen for peace. God also speaks through peace. If you don't have any peace, something is wrong. That's a sign. Something's wrong. Sickness and pain is a sign that something's wrong. It is a sign that something needs to change. If you are unhappy and depressed, that's just a sign that something needs to change. If you are sick in your body, that's just a sign that something needs to change. And change is possible, but only through God and you. No one can do it for you. No one can make your life better but you. Now, I tell you this, with all the faith I have in me, it is never too late to live happily ever after. And all things are possible to them that believe. And you are an overcomer by the blood of the Lamb and by the words of your testimony. Yes, sir. Let's have church on the porch. God is good all the time, and all the time God is good. Have a wonderful night. Let me see if I can get that sky. It won't come up, but them clouds are beautiful. But It's not going to show because I don't have enough light on my phone. But if you could see it, oh my God, it's gorgeous. But anyway, that's my spiel. Listen for the voice of God, because he talks to those who are listening for him. And he feeds everyone who's hungry. Are you hungry for the goodness of God? Tell him. Tell him that you are. Tell him that you want to change, that you want your life to be better. And then listen for the voice. Because one way or another, he's going to get through to you if you're listening. Blessings. Take it from Miss Bonnie.